What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bacon Decker. We are talking about traveling today and also just the weekly update. Welcome back. We'll start off the weekly update pretty down, honestly. Gabby, my fiance, her stepmom, tragically passed in a car accident this past week. Actually, the recording of last week's podcast that night is when it happened. So honestly, this has not been a good week for me, just because dealing with that, it was just tragic. It was like spur of the moment, shouldn't have happened. And it hit her pretty hard, hit her family pretty hard. And like we talked about in last week's podcast, I love her and her family. And seeing all of them upset like that just really sucked. It just all around was terrible to see them so upset.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stay on the topic too long, just because I know some of them watch the podcast, and I don't want to upset them any more than they've already been upset, in the past week. So I don't want to dwell on it too much. Like I said, that's why I didn't stream last week, because I wanted to take time with them. I didn't want to try to do both. Mentally, I just wasn't happy to be on stream while dealing with that off screen.
Right.
On a lighter note, we did hit 100 subscribers this week, which is huge for me.
That's a big congratulations to you, bud.
To us, really. So, I mean, the podcast has brought people here, and, the Pokemon stuff, it's all kind of come together, and everybody watches something different, which is great. I don't want anybody to, think they have to watch everything. Just watch what you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of our family and friends watch the podcast and the Bro Down stuff. So, if you don't watch the other stuff, that's just me. It's fine. I'm happy that anybody comes to watch anything.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. It was tough to deal with that while dealing with the funerals and everything, and the visitation, because I hit the 100, I think the day after, or the 2 days after it happened. So we were still dealing with all of that, seeing when I needed to be off work and when she was going to be off. And getting there, because her family's from Greensburg, so it's not like it's
not close. Yeah.
So we had to drive and stay the nights, and so in between that, I'm trying to record the videos up to date, because if you guys aren't aware, that the Pokemon videos are recorded a week ahead, and the podcasts are too, just so that we're ahead. In case something like that happens, we have time to prepare, and that way we stay on schedule for you guys. And so I had to come home and record those videos that I had planned, the congratulations videos and the celebration videos. And so I had to do all that, and then the camera crapped out on me while doing the Pokemon, the second part, which, like I said in that video, we are going to blow it up. I think that's the option we're going to do. We're going to get some tannerite, get somewhere safe, and put a round in it and just explode it and see what happens to the battery. It is a lithium battery, so, I don't know what it's going to do, but it's going away. So just because on top of everything that week, that was like, another downfall.
Right.
So trying to deal with all that in the same week just was honestly a trial for me. And we talked about it in the last video and the videos before, that, just value your time with your friends and family. Every day is not promised. And it just really hit them really hard, and it hit me hard, because I thought, if I got that phone call from my mom or my dad or anybody in my family, there's not any more words, there's no more time, it's just gone.
Right.
And so it just kind of hit me that way. It's just this perspective, if it was me, kind of thing,
Yeah. Reality kind of just sets in moments like that.
Yeah. And you had an interesting week too.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere near as tragic,
Right.
Which is, I'm thankful, and I'm sorry that you guys had to go through this.
Yeah, he was there, and he was there for if we needed anything, just like a lot of people were. The love and support from all families that knew her stepmom and knew the situation. There's nothing but love from every side. So, and I think we should be real. So, when we do these weekly updates, not every week's going to be
it's not
good.
Always a good week.
No, and that was like we talked about in the episodes before, that sometimes it's just bad, a lot of negatives and a lot of downsides, and you got to look for that positive. And this week was definitely a trial of trying to look for those positives, trying to stay upbeat and on a good mental note. So, but yeah, your week, you you can go into your week.
Yeah, the lady moved in, came back from vacation, and she's moved in with me now. Which, I mean, moving all that stuff is not fun, and we still got some more stuff to move in, but...
Moving is not fun in general.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, my gosh. And, I mean, between us, we've moved so much stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell you.
Growing up, we always moved. Between mom and dad's and my grandparents, we just moved a lot. So, and then going to your house those times.
Yeah.
At the start, we would move stuff. I've always been a mover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're big and strong.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's what they see. They're like, you know what? I bet he can pick up a couch.
Yeah.
So...
Dude, don't get me started on lifting couches. I hate that stuff. I'll tell you what, another revelation I came to this week is I hate people. And I'll tell you why I hate people. Because working at UPS, you see the stuff that people order.
Mm-hmm.
And people order some crazy stuff to be ordered online, okay? I'm talking like couches and... gigantic mattresses and
I didn't know you
bed
could order
frames
that
and
through
all
UPS.
You can order everything apparently through UPS.
I know freight, but you're not part of freight, are you? Like the freight is like anything over 100 pounds, right?
Right.
So,
well, I mean, we deliver stuff over 100 pounds.
Oh, okay. So you are
in the little
loading that
package
stuff.
cars.
Gotcha.
Because it comes off the freight trailers and then it gets loaded on the package cars for delivery.
Okay.
I mean, I've loaded packages that are like over 140 pounds.
Jeez.
But my point, right, is that when I'm loading the car, and the whole, like, there's, you know, you got like all your little mail packages from Amazon that are like this big, you know, that's easy to load. You just put it on the shelves and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you get these, I mean, huge, heavy boxes, and I mean that just breaks your back. And you're just like, all right, I've had enough of this.
There's no team lifting? I would be surprised.
Well, yeah, there is, but like sometimes it's just so slammed, you just kind of have to roll it off the belt and just, you know, set it up to the side until you can get to it. But I mean, stuff like that is just like, why are you ordering that online? You know,
I would want to order in person. I wouldn't want to buy a couch offline or you know, a mattresses or something without knowing. I guess if you already bought one like it and you just ordered the same one, but still, the chances of it damaged or you know,
I mean, a lot of stuff does get damaged in transit. You know, I see that stuff all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do furniture like that through the mail.
Oh yeah.
So
No,
I couldn't imagine coming home and there's like a box size couch or couch size box sitting on my porch.
Yeah. And just think, and that UPS guy who's delivering it, he's by himself. So he had to bring the thing up there. But yeah, so I tell you what, man, nothing aggravates me more. You know?
So work week was pretty bad for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like you've had quite the interesting week. I remember when Gabby moved in. You know, it's different. You know, instead of having that while I'm heading home and I'll see you tomorrow, it's you know, they're there throughout the day. It's definitely different. Not in a bad way, but it's just you change as a couple moving in and being next to each other all the time, or not necessarily all the time, but it's the same place.
Yeah.
Safe place for both of you.
There's no all right, well, I'm just going to leave and go here, you know. It's I'm at the place I'm going to go to, so
which we are dressed for the occasion today for our main topic, which is travel. Traveling in general, where we've been in the past, and also in the future, things we've thought about doing and maybe possibly doing for the Bro Down, or just in general, like bringing you guys along with if we go somewhere.
Yeah.
So we definitely wanted to discuss traveling, and it was a bad week for me and a trying week for you as well. So going into travel is a tough transition, but I think we'll be okay as far as, you know, like we said, you've got to look towards the positives and the future and not dwell on, you know, the bad things throughout the weeks. So traveling for us has always been a big part of our lives, at least in middle school or in high school. I traveled a lot growing up with my dad.
Really?
We went to Florida almost every year. My aunt and uncle lived in Florida at the time. So we would fly or drive to Florida once a year. And that was pretty cool. Florida is like this great place everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Like, so as a kid, you're like, we're going to Florida. And then like now I'm thinking, it's Florida. You know, it's like, there's so many bad things that happen in Florida now that like as a kid you don't know about. As a kid you're just like, cool, beach, water, ocean. And you know, like that thrill of, at least for me, like swimming in the water that could have sharks or jellyfish or like different other types. Like as a kid I was like, oh, I don't know about going in the water too deep. Or what if I get attacked by a shark? Or, you know, you have those fears as a kid. That was pretty much traveling for me in a nutshell is my dad would take us to Florida once a year, and then my mom would take us to like family members. Like we went to Illinois with my grandfather on her side. His family was from Illinois, so we got to travel there to see his family and just in general for fun, just to kind of get away from Bowling Green. But we didn't really have any planned trips with our mom, just because money was tight a lot of times. So we didn't do a lot of traveling. We did go to dirt track races with her and her grandfather, our great grandfather, just because they would go, and I enjoyed the dirt track races. I thought it was a lot of fun at the time as a kid. Now I don't really have any interest in it, but it was cool to get, like I said, out of the house, just do something.
Yeah, just go see something different.
And did you do much traveling when you were growing up?
Actually, yeah. Like, so much like you, my family, we took trips every year to Florida for vacation. Like, we would go for fall break, starting, I want to say probably about middle school time frame. We'd go every year to down to the Panhandle in Florida. And I think the reason everybody around here is like, oh, Florida, we're going to Florida, is because, like, that's the closest beach to most of us Southerners.
Yeah.
It's like, we're either going to go to, like, the Panhandle, we're going to go to, like, what is that, Gulf Shores in Alabama?
Yeah, Gulf Shores is a big hit.
Or, like, in South Carolina, it's like Myrtle Beach. That's where that's where a lot of people in the South, they'll go for, like, vacation. But we did a lot of traveling. We'd go to Florida. We had family in Iowa that I'd go see. I think we went a couple times. Usually
I
around
went to
Christmas
New York
time.
too, right?
Yeah, I've been to New York around the Buffalo area, and I got to go over to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, which is cool.
That's pretty neat.
And then I've been all over the place, of course, because of the Marine Corps. So I've gotten to see a lot of the country, or not a lot of the world, but I mean, I got to see
more than a lot of people in our area. A lot of people can't say they've been to Japan or they've been to other places in the States like you have. So
like California was a trip,
Yeah, a lot of people want to go to California, and I just
it's not all it's cracked up to be. I'll say that. Like walking down Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles it was one of the, like, you go to a certain part of it, and it's dirty. It's just dirty and
which we
unkept. It's just gross.
I guess we'll stay on travel, but eventually we'll get to, like, we went on a cruise and we left out of New Orleans, and that was kind of the big issue there. Is like everybody's like Bourbon Street. It's disgusting. Like, it was fun.
It's because all the tourists, being disgusting, throwing their trash on the ground.
Yeah, there was trash. There was literally feces on the side of the road. Like, it's gross, and throw up from where these people are coming in and taking shots and then leaving, and they're just throwing up because it's 90 degrees outside, humid, just hot, even during the night. So it was disgusting to see people that just, I don't know, like trash places like that. Like they could be really nice, cool places to go, and then they just, as people do, they just destroy things.
Yeah, like when you feel like you don't have any repercussions, you'll just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's why people, you see them in a park or something, they'll just throw their trash on the ground.
Oh yeah, I can't stand littering in general. Like, just driving down the road and you just see somebody fling a cup out. It's like, why can't you just hold on to that cup?
Yeah, until you get home.
Yeah.
Like, you have a trash can at home.
Yeah. And probably walk by your dumpster into your house. Like, you can't just like open the lid, throw it in there, and just go on. It just takes too much effort. But going back to traveling, we traveled together in high school. That was actually my first, probably by far my favorite trip in general, other than the cruise with Gabby. Like, between us, that was by far my favorite moment of us just going with your family.
Yeah,
like I mentioned, I didn't travel much out of the state. So when you guys offered to let me go with you guys, I was all over it, and I was willing to pay for whatever.
Did you go with us twice or just
twice?
Yeah, I thought it was twice.
So the first time, I think it was the first year that we got back together as friends in high school. I think it was the first year after that. You're like, hey, my family's going to go to Florida. Do you want to go with? And I was like, yeah, sure. And at this point, your parents had already, like, I'm the adopted kid. And they're like, oh, Tyler can come for sure. Because the first year we stayed on the couches in the condo. Yeah. Which was Navarre Beach, right? That's where we went.
Yeah.
And then, like,
we went to Navarre both years.
Yeah. So we had a condo there, and there was like 4 rooms, but it was a ton of your family. So
yeah, it was my grandparents, my parents, and then all your
uncle,
My
well.
uncle and then my sisters, my three younger sisters.
So we got the couches because we were the boys, and like, y'all can sleep on the couches in the living room. So the first year was kind of rough because there was really no space for us just to kind of
Like
have our own.
Yeah, have like our stuff, and then like.
And we weren't early risers like your dad and your family would get up really early.
They would get up at like 6,
Yeah.
maybe 7 at the latest, but they would be making breakfast and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we would stay up, being kids,
Yeah.
and then we'd have to wake up with them because as soon as
they were in our
Yeah.
their
the living
sleeping
room was
area.
here and the kitchen was right on the other side. So as soon as they started clanging pans and stuff, we were up and at it. But the second year, we had our own room that year. That was really nice. At that point, the video is actually still on the channel. It's cringeworthy, but it is our second trip to Florida together.
Yeah.
We had our own room, and then we were both doing YouTube at the time.
And that's what started, especially you
yeah.
on this whole YouTube gig.
Yeah, that was the big, like, I wanted to be like a vlogger type, like just film what I had going on in my life. And then once I got into the real world, I realized that I didn't really do that much interesting.
Yeah.
I just went to work and come home. It was cool to think as a kid, but once you got into the real world, you're like, well, I travel once a year or something.
Yeah.
But those trips were really cool. We did a ton of stuff that I'd never experienced before.
I mean, we went fishing, and you, I mean, fought that gar for probably like 30 minutes.
I think it was a jack. I think they called it.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact species or whatever, but he called it a jack. The fishery that we went with on his boat. I was the only one that caught anything. I think of size. I don't know if.
Yeah, it was the only big fish anybody caught.
We fished for what, 8 hours? It was like a whole day.
Yeah, we were out on the water.
I was done
all
after
day.
that though. I didn't. I don't think I cast a single time after that fight. It was. I think we started at like 8 that morning.
Yeah.
I probably fought that fish about 8:15ish to 8:45. It was a 30-minute fight. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "That's it. My back." Like,
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a
you're
fisher.
sitting there like,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
fighting
you got to lean back with it, and then let him run with it, and then you got to lean back with it. So my back
and
after.
the boat driver's coaching you the whole
Yeah.
time, like you got to.
He's like, you really, right now, the line will snap, you'll lose it. I mean, it was like nerve-wracking, and I was like, man, I don't want to lose this big fish. I've never done this before. And so after you got done, I was just like, all right, I'm out. Like, y'all can fish and catch anything. And the rest of the boat ride, I think I filmed a little bit on the boat, and just kind of, I did a film. We seen dolphins and stuff off to the side.
Oh, and the stingrays and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
And then we did see sharks. We didn't catch any or anything like that, like small sharks. But so the rest of the trip, I was just like, no, y'all can fish. I'll just sit here and good luck to y'all.
You remember, because it was a tinier boat. You remember like hitting the waves and just.
Yeah, it was a small fishing boat, so it wasn't really deep sea fishing.
Yeah, we were fishing in like the canals in the Bay Area.
Yeah, but for that fish to be that big in those canals, like I didn't think about that. Like even in the canals, that there would be fish that size.
Mm-hmm. He's eating good, man.
Yeah, he was.
That was a heavy fish.
Yeah, it took two of us to hold it.
Yeah.
Of course, we were in high school, but still, it took two people to hold the fish to take a picture.
Picture
I did too. I don't know if I've lost the photos or if they're off, but I wish I had the photo to show, which I still had the mohawk then too.
Yeah.
Sporting the mohawk. We built. I don't know what our fascination was with digging a hole on the beach. His family for sure remembers it, and then there is on the video like you standing in the hole. And
and it's
looking
all
up.
the way over my head, you know.
Yeah, you just see the shovel flying over, and William and I would take shifts and dig this hole. We hit the water level, where the water.
And we
would
were
come
up
through.
on the beach. It wasn't like we were like kind of close to the water. No, we were up on the beach
where it was dry sand. There was no water where it was hitting. So it was crazy. And then during the night, it would sink in some from where the water would rise, and it would fall in, and then we would have to fill it when we left, just because we didn't want to.
Nobody falling in.
I mean, it got to the point where we actually wanted to put some chairs around it because they were like, if somebody walks down through here and falls in this hole,
and they're not paying attention or they've been drinking too much.
we were just waiting for us to wake up the next morning. There's this dude sleeping in the hole.
Which I mean, it was so deep. It would provide shade during the day.
Yeah. Like it would. Certain times of the day, you would be in shade from the walls. And then, like I said, I don't know why we thought that was a good idea to dig a hole, but it was just something we.
And then something my grandparents
really
told me the other day was like, do you remember when there was like girls down the beach that started digging a hole probably a day or two after we had started?
Yeah, and we competed. I remember that now. Yeah, I completely forgot that.
Yeah, dude, they didn't beat us.
No,
that's for
they
sure.
didn't. Because I think we walked down there and looked, or your grandparents might have, to see their progress or whatever. Yeah, so I guess we kind of started a trend there, just like a bunch of holes.
Yeah, and then other people would start. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
We did it both years, but the first year we didn't have that many tools, and so the next year we were like,
Yeah,
we've
we
got to
brought,
take
like,
some
a
shovels. You
decent
took
shovel.
you took one of like a military shovel.
Yeah, I
didn't you?
took like an E-tool, like
Yeah.
a trenching tool.
Yeah, so we had the better tools by far, because I think the girls down the way had just like a bucket and stuff. They were just piddling
the second
around.
year. The first year, that's
Yeah.
what we had.
Yeah, the first year we were literally using your sister's tools. I think.
Yeah,
Your
that they
sisters.
used to build sandcastles.
So they were like, "We need the bucket." We're like, "No, we need the bucket."
Dude.
We did. We went on a dolphin cruise, one of those like long flat boats. I'm not sure what they're called. It's just
The
like a
glass
dolphin.
bottom one?
Yeah, you can just kind of see dolphins. We really didn't see much though on it. The food was amazing. We grilled out almost every night.
Dude.
I think we did grill out every night except for once when
Yeah,
we
when
went
we went to dinner.
to Beauchamps.
Yeah.
I think is what it was called.
And that was a good seafood place.
Yeah,
too.
wonderful. The best, honestly, to this day, other than New Orleans, that was the best shrimp I've had outside of somewhere that's famous for shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, but we grilled out every night. We did charcoal grills out there where the condo was, down at the bottom level.
Yeah.
And we did brats and burgers and I think pork chops and chicken. Like,
Yeah,
it was
everything. If you could
always
grill it,
something.
we were grilling it.
And it was wonderful too. Like, that was the best food. And then the hot tub experiences were awesome.
Oh yeah, just hanging out down there.
And of course, that guy bet me a beer I wouldn't jump in the pool from the hot tub. Do you remember that? I think it was
yeah.
I think it was on the video actually. It's like, the guy dared me to jump in. Of course, I didn't drink at the time. I mean, I had a couple here and there, and that was, well, I was 16 then. I was drinking a few here and there, but it wasn't, not there, but just in general, like, I had a couple beers. And so he's like, I'll bet you a beer you don't jump in the pool after being in this hot tub, which I think the hot tub was about 100 degrees, somewhere in there, 90 to 100.
Around there. 100 probably.
And then the pool, this is at night when we would go to the hot tub, so at night.
And it'd be late at night, so the pool definitely cooled down through the day too. So
Yeah, and you had that breeze too from the ocean, so I mean it was freezing. So I remember jumping in the water, and just as soon as I hit the water, like it felt like needles in my body because of that temperature
that initial
change.
shock.
I was just like, ow, like it hurt. Like I was like, oh, I didn't expect it to be painful. Like I thought it'd be cold, but I guess cold is a type of pain. It shocked me, and then I got in, I got right back in the hot tub, and he's like, I can't believe you did that. Which I didn't get the beer because I was underage and I didn't want a beer, just because I had no interest in one beer. It was just a concept of if he dared me to do it, I was going to do it. That was pretty cool. We went on the pontoon. I remember we
fished off that for a little.
we seen the DEA on the boats. Remember that?
Oh yeah, they were riding into the
somewhere in the Gulf there or whatever, or like
it was because we were riding on the pontoon towards Destin, and we were getting close to there, and they were like hauling
Loaded
it
up.
through one of the canals, and
they were full
like,
gear.
Oh, jeez,
And I think it was your dad, or maybe it was your grandfather, said don't take pictures of them. They'll confiscate your phones because, like, if they are going somewhere, then it can't be photographed or whatever before they get there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I remember them saying don't take pictures or anything of them. But it was cool. There was 12 guys on that boat, decked out, ready to go. I don't know where they were going, but
they were on a mission. That or they were training, but
yeah, I mean, it could have been, but in the middle of the day, I don't know.
Yeah.
What else
crazy,
did we-
though.
Oh, we went to the museum.
Oh, the
Aviation
Ford.
Museum. And the Ford.
Did we go to the aviation museum?
Yeah, remember we got photos of you like sitting in the planes and stuff. I was too fat to fit in the planes, so you're like, oh, I'll get in the plane. I was like, all right, I'll take a picture. And I mean, yeah, aviation, like where the blue,
it was
the show that everybody knows of. Is it the Blue Devils or Blue Angels?
Blue Angels.
The Blue Angels, I think it is. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but whatever it was, we didn't see the show, but that's where they flew out of it, and like the planes and stuff were there. It's pretty neat, all the planes, and they had even like mock museum spots, like ships and stuff too.
Yeah,
like,
it was all about naval aviation. In general, so.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm not really a big buff into Navy and aviation or whatever, but it was cool to see all the planes. Like either way, even if you're not into the history of it, it was just cool to see the progression of planes and boats and stuff throughout the years.
And it was just like cool exhibits, like stuff you could interact with, and
I think there's one where you were like sitting there talking to a mannequin or whatever. Didn't we get a photo of that?
Yeah. There's because it was like a World War II little exhibit, and there's like the one. It was like one.
Yeah, the lady
Navy
was
dude.
leaned over. Yeah, the Navy guy was here, and you were leaned over, and then the girl was on the window, like
Yeah.
one of the glass windows. And you all were acting like you're all talking to her or something.
And then you got the picture. Was it you that got the picture of sitting in the barber chair right next to the other dude, like the other mannequin in the barber chair?
I think so. Yeah, because that was like
Yeah,
one of
you
the
and me,
only
but
one I
think
could fit in. I was like, I'll take this one since I could fit in the barber chair.
But that was funny.
Yeah, and then the fort. I don't remember what was the fort called.
Fort Pickens.
Fort Pickens. That was cool and also creepy at the same time because there were some places that were pitch black.
Yeah.
And you remember the tunnels that they had dug?
Mm-hmm.
And it just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And of course, I was pretty good size then as I am now.
Yeah.
So when you start going in this little tiny tunnel, it just kind of keeps shrinking. You're like, it's getting a little tight in here.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know I was claustrophobic until that moment. I was like, I don't want to be in here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's very neat to see the fort. And you can go up top and down the bottom. There's cannons and the jail cells where they kept people if they captured anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all pitch black. I remember, I don't know if it's in the video from then.
Well, it definitely is.
Where I
in the video.
scared you.
Oh, I don't know if that's it.
I think it was because I was like, and you're like, oh my god, dude, I didn't know you were in here. And like, it's just pitch black because there was no windows in these jail cells. They just locked them in there and
Kept
they
them
were
in there.
Yeah, and they were in the middle, so if they did get hit by fire, I guess they didn't have anybody escape.
Mm-hmm.
But
It was a big complex.
yeah, and for sure the 2 trips to Florida was probably just staple trips for me up until adulthood. I think those are really the only trips I can remember right off the top of my head until I went to Chicago with my dad and stepmom, which I think I mentioned briefly in like part 3 of the Story of Us or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was in the relationship one. I can't remember exactly when we talked about it.
I think it was in part 3.
I also forget what I've talked to you about personally and then what we've discussed on the podcast because we've discussed some of these stories obviously in detail off camera before doing the podcast, but now it's like trying to remember, did I mention this or did I mention it off camera?
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, the Chicago trip was really neat. It really showed me, you've been to New York and stuff. You've been to really highly populated areas. I hadn't. So to see the traffic in Chicago, I was like, I could not do this. I could not drive in this. Like, at the time I was an adult. I've been driving for years. So I was like, there's no way I could bob and weave in traffic. It's like people just come over in front of you. Like if there's a car length distance, they'll cut in front of you. And it's just like, I could not.
In.
Yeah, we've seen people just literally just like push themselves in between 2 cars.
Yeah.
So that was neat. We went to the Sky Bridge. My dad and stepmom and her mom. The Sky Bridge was really neat. Just, you were standing up there and the glasses. This was before the year that it broke. Yeah. One of them broke. I don't know if it broke completely, like just kind of cracked or whatever. I don't think anybody was on it actually. I think is what they said. It was like I don't know. I would not want to be on it when it cracked.
No, thank you.
But when you look up, you can't even see the people. That's how small, how high up you are. And the elevator ride up, it tells you like all the facts of how long it takes to get to the top, how tall the building is, and like compared to other buildings. But that was really neat. The line's ridiculous just to stand in a glass box, and the amount of selfies that girls take in the glass box, it's like a selfie hotspot.
Oh, yeah.
So like they'll go in the windows, and there's really no time allotted for how long you can be in there. It's just a line. So if the girl doesn't like her photo, you would stand there and watch the girl like, no, and she'd take her phone and be like, all right, well, get one like this, or she's like laying against the glass or sitting on the glass or like laid out on the glass. It was crazy how many, and it was multiple women that was just taking photos for their Tinder or their Instagram or whatever they're trying to do to have cool photos. And we were like, yeah, we want to take photos on it, but I didn't care if it was
it
like,
wasn't like
I don't
all
like
right,
my
hold
smile
on.
in this.
Let me, it was just, hey, all right, we came here.
Yeah, there's a photo of my dad and I for sure. Just kind of like crouched down on it, like we were dropping a mixtape or something on the Sky Bridge. And then we went to see the trolls that they made.
The big wooden.
Yeah, the wooden ones that they built in Chicago. We went to the Renaissance Fair for the first time. That was a trip.
I think that would be really cool just to see that.
Yeah, definitely we need to go to a Renaissance Fair. Obviously with COVID, everything's been shut down, so I don't know when the next one would be, if they're even having any this year. But we went again to the one in Tennessee with Gabby, and she was all excited for it, but I don't think she realized how nerdy it really is. The amount of people that live for those days, like when the Renaissance Fair is in town. Because the one in Chicago, there was like girls and stuff like in chainmail bikinis and stuff. Like my dad and I joked, We're like, could you imagine just like going to her house and open the drawer and there's just chainmail bikini like top and bottom, like, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. Like it just would not be like. Do you mention it on the first date, or do you just like let it go? It's like,
you
oh
just
yeah,
let
by
them
the way.
figure it out, like
Yeah.
after you've trapped them.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, oh yeah, I go to Renaissance Fairs in chainmail bikini.
You're like, well,
What?
okay.
So my trip to Chicago. Did you? I guess you want to talk about your military traveling for sure, somewhat. Obviously,
yeah.
Japan and whatnot.
Well, I've been to a lot of places. You know, of course, trained all over the East Coast. You know, Parris Island, South Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina, and then I've been up to Fort Lee, Virginia, which is right by Petersburg, Virginia. I've been to Quantico, Virginia, which is like right outside DC, and DC is so cool to me. Like getting to go there, and the traffic is not too bad. Like compared to other cities I've been in, like Los Angeles and like Louisville and Nashville. Like traffic's horrible in those places, but like DC, it's not that bad.
Hunter
at least where we were staying.
Hunter went on a field trip to DC, and he said that was the coolest place he'd been to. It was DC.
Yeah, it was definitely neat getting to see like all the monuments. National Mall is amazing. All like the Vietnam, World War II, Korean Memorial. The Korean Memorial is probably my favorite one. That or the FDR one, which is like not a well-known one. Like I stumbled on this one when we were walking around like towards the Jefferson Memorial, but like the FDR one's really cool set up too because there's like sections of it based on his term limits as president because he was president 4 times, you know, or elected 4 times.
That's crazy.
So it was like, you know, and each of them had a different quote from him, you know, like during that era.
That's pretty neat.
It was really cool. But then the Korean one is just like, it's eerie because it's like a picture frozen in time of like guys on patrol, you know, in a field or, you know, on a path in the mountains or something. You know, so it's really neat. But I've also been to, you know, like I said, Los Angeles. I got to do like, you know, one of those like touristy things where you get on the bus and you kind of ride around and you see the different movie stars' houses, and then you know.
That's pretty neat.
I've been in Beverly Hills. Of course, I never bought anything because stuff's crazy expensive. But it is cool, you know, see how the rich people shop out there.
That means a different level. Like
yeah, and like seeing all the cars, the nice cars. Like there's like Lamborghini dealerships and stuff like that out there. And I'm just
nuts.
like, wow. But I've been to Las Vegas. We went there for one of the Marine Corps balls I've been to, and we stayed in the Paris Hotel, and that's where it was hosted. And I'd never been in like a casino or a hotel like that. Okay, it was a amazing like hotel. We got a discount because we were part of an event that was being hosted there.
Gotcha.
It was still like over $300 for 2 nights though. But so we got up there, and when I walked in, and like everything's painted like a street in Paris. Like the walls are designed like that, the different like restaurants, and the whole theme is like a Parisian street, you know. The sky, like the ceiling is painted like a sky. Like it was crazy.
This is when you should have had a GoPro, like do some vlogs and
I
stuff.
should have just taken more pictures, but like
you just took it in as a person.
Yeah.
You didn't think about it then like that either.
Walking down like the strip there in Las Vegas, I mean, it was weird because you got people just standing on the side of the street trying to sell you prostitutes. So that was odd, you know, especially being like, 19 years old. I was probably 19 years old. And I was just like, no, you know, just no thank you, you know. And I mean,
crazy.
it's everywhere. There's like little cards just all over the ground of just like, call this number, you know, and this is. I mean, it's nuts.
Wow.
You know, being in the desert out there by Palm Springs, you know, beautiful. All right, like seeing the sun rise in the desert is probably the most beautiful thing you'll ever see in your life. I mean, it's just something else.
Yeah. Instead of, I mean, the only place I've ever seen the sunrise is obviously like here, but then like on the ocean. We watched it in Florida those 2 times. Like you could sit there and watch the sun actually move off of the ocean, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Niagara Falls was kind of cool growing up. You know, just getting to see that. You know,
and going across the border too.
It's not as hard doing, the northern borders, I'm sure the southern borders. I've never been to Mexico.
Yeah. I have. But I went through a cruise line, so it's completely different than if you're trying to cross the border through a vehicle.
Yeah, you just kind of have to.
Yeah, well, you get on the boat in the U.S.
Yeah,
when you get off the boat in Mexico, you better have your paperwork and stuff when you get back on the boat. Obviously, I look like I'm on a cruise.
Yeah.
But
you're white.
You had areas. So, like, when you got off the boat on the cruise line, we took the cruise 3 weeks after the trip to Chicago, roughly 3 to 4 weeks. That was, I think I mentioned it in the relationship video, just Gabby and I went with her family, and we went to a couple places in Mexico. We went to, I can't remember the names of the places that we went to.
Cancun, probably.
No, it wasn't Cancun. I can't remember the places off the top of my head, but we went to 2 different ports in Mexico. One of them was near the Aztec ruins. We didn't go just because her family's not really into the ruins or anything like that. It was also like a 3-hour drive just to get to the ruins from where we went. So they just really weren't wanting to spend the whole day there. We did swim with dolphins. Crazy experience. But what I was saying, in Mexico, you have these areas where you can go and can't go. So, like, as a tourist, you're like, hey, get on this bus. We're going to take you to the dolphin thing. If you guys don't get on this bus at this time, we're going to leave without you. Like, you have to be back by this time because they had so many people to keep up with. And if your tourist got lost, you're screwed. So, like, you stayed on pretty much these pathways and these places that were built for
tourists,
the cruise lines and tourists. Because it's not only our boat, but there's also other boats docked as well from different cruise lines. So you had multiple people from different places going to the same exhibits, I guess you could say, or like excursions. That's what they're on.
Yeah.
So you pay for the excursion on the boat, and then you know what you're doing the day you get off, because you have 2 days at sea, roughly 2 or 3 days at sea, and then you have 2 days where you're docked in the places, and you're like back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Cruise is crazy. If you've not been on a cruise, I highly recommend it. Obviously, right now the world's kind of gone to shit, but the cruise itself, the buffets are really hyped up. They're okay. The best dinner we had was the dinner in the fancy hall, where like it was something different every night, but it was all free. But they had waiters. The cruise is free for it, except for lobster and steak, fancy steak, filet mignon.
Oh yeah.
Those 2 cost extra, like $20 for a lobster, and it was like a small lobster. It was not nice. I think it was more like, I want the lobster kind of thing, But yeah, I think her mom actually got it one time just to try it, and it just wasn't impressive. It wasn't nothing great. Mm-hmm. But the free food was really great. I tried a lot of things I never thought I'd try. It was like a broccoli soup. It was wonderful, which it probably wasn't even like good broccoli soup, but like to me, I was like, oh, this is really good. But yeah, they do like, you get a free appetizer, free meal, and then a free dessert each night. And you dress up in there. So like one night it was like tropical. So you go in like flip flops, like tropical like clothes, shorts. And then one night it was like formal night. The first night on the cruise was formal night. So all the women were in dresses. All the guys were in suits and like polos and slacks and dress shoes. And like you just got fancified. It was like olden times kind of thing. It was really cool. And then they dance for you, like the waiters and stuff. They all have like routines that they do. They get on the tables and dance and whatnot, and thank you for being on the cruise line. And it's crazy how many guys are in the kitchen to make this work, because when they come out at the end of the week, so we went every night after the first night. We're like, that's where we want to go eat. It's the best place to eat. Instead of like the cheap buffet up top on the like swimming deck. But they all came out the last night and were like, thank you for cruising with us, and the crew wants to thank you all for coming to dinner here. And like the entire upper floor had crew members all the way lined up around it, like this huge room. And then also all around the sides, and they just all like started clapping. It was so cool to see how many people actually make just the kitchen work in general. So the cruise line's huge as far as like and they all seem to love their jobs. We didn't have any bad experiences with anybody in there. Like everybody seemed happy to be there, and it was really neat to see everybody like work together. Like as a worker, I was seeing how they did things, and it was really cool. We swam with the dolphins, and then honestly, that's really all we did in Mexico. The food is amazing, just authentic Mexican food. There was wonderful and huge. Like serving sizes, and it might just be because it's a tourist location, But it's like we bought $10 nachos, and we were thinking, just a normal plate of nachos. I mean, it was like an oval shaped plate, and it was stacked probably that tall of nachos, meat, and toppings, and it was huge. I couldn't even finish it myself. So it was the food was amazing. They give you free shots to tequila down through there.
Hey.
There was like different flavored tequilas and stuff. Obviously, they're trying to sell things. The shops and stuff. That's where they make their money. So there's a guy there. We actually bought a plate from there that he drew. Mm-hmm. It's all in black and white of like the ocean and like dolphins coming out and like palm trees and stuff. Yeah. And he hands draws these with paint on plates. And we were gonna go again for our honeymoon, and then everything obviously happened, and we decided just to do a trip to Florida in a condo, just to have like a week to ourselves out of Bowling Green. But we said if we went back, we would get a plate again from that guy, just because it'd be super cool to have two, because it does say the date and everything when we went.
Yeah.
The cruise is definitely, as an adult, I always was afraid to do a cruise. Obviously, like you've seen movies and stuff. And and it is something, I mean, you don't know if you're going to get seasick until you're out there.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a chance, like, your first time, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be okay with the sea or not. I'm going to say, from my personal experience, I was fine on the ocean, but when you're leaving New Orleans, which is where we left out of, you go through the river a little bit, and seeing the earth, like the land, in window view, and all of a sudden it's more land, and all of a sudden it's sky, that's when I got sick. Like, seeing the land shift back and forth is when I got sick. I was like, I can't look outside like that, I'm going to throw up. But when you're on the ocean, you can't tell that you're bobbing back and forth. But in the river, man, you can see the boat. Literally, if you're sitting at the dinner table, you can see land, and then sky, and then land, and you had to make sure you kept your cups, like a hold of your cups, or they had like special coasters that kept them from sliding. Because I mean, when they would hit bad seas, like somebody's glass would fall off because it was too close to the side or something.
Jeez.
So I mean, you are moving, but on the open sea, I didn't have any problem. I didn't really notice it, except for at bedtime.
Oh, when you're laying flat?
Yeah, well, we were at the front of the boat, which is the worst place to be, supposedly. We were in the front rooms. So, like, you got rooms down the sides, and you got rooms on the front. We were in a front room. So, like, that was how close up to the front we were. So, when he would, hit the waves and stuff, we would lay in bed, and you could feel leaning back and forth, laying flat. And the doors for the closets would swing open back and forth. Like, they would have locks. So, I mean, it was... Laying in bed was the only time, and we had a medicine, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, the tape for seasickness, and we would take it to go to bed, and that was it. I did get sick on the way home. Like, the last day, I had an ear infection real bad, and I had a sinus infection. I knew what I had. Growing up, I had sinus infections a lot. On the way home, though, I was sick, so I had to walk from the cruise line back to the parking garage where my car was, and it was probably about a mile walk to get the car and then drive back through. And on the way home, like, she texted her parents. It's like, we need to pull over and, like, have Tyler just, like, walk around, get something to drink. So I got two monsters because I was, one, extremely tired because we've been staying up so late. Me and her both, at that time, were really okay with being up late. We both worked late. So it was a morning cruise, but a lot of times we'd stay up till, like, 2 or 3 in the morning. We'd go to the only 2 places on the boat that were open. And we enjoyed that. We liked the night part of it compared to waking up and going to breakfast.
Yeah.
So... the last day, you have to get off the boat. You have to go through customs. Like, after you get off, we didn't have trouble with customs. Some people have horror stories. We walked right through, no problem. We didn't buy anything like food wise. Food is what they look for. Like your tequilas and stuff is what they're going to start looking for.
Yeah, you're only allowed to have, I think it's one like 750 milliliter bottle. Like if you do.
Yeah. So as long as you don't do anything like that. They didn't even look at our bags. They're just like, oh, you're good to go. But then they were stopping some people, so it just depends. But we got through, and that's early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, which is early to us because we've been staying up so late. So I was sick, tired. I was blaring Five Finger Death Punch on the way home just to try to stay awake. And I got home, and I think I threw up the night after we got home. And I don't know if it's because I was sick or maybe just being on land. Because, I mean, when you get off that boat and you're on land and you've been on a boat for, 2 or 3 days worth moving, I mean, you're on land, it's just
everything feels so still.
Yeah, it's different. So, like, getting the grasp, I don't know how people did, like, in the Navy, they're gone for months at a time. Like, I know they dock places and stuff, they get off, like, occasionally. But it's got to mess with them to go back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never on ship I spent my entire time in Japan on land, thank God. Because obviously living on a ship, you got like tiny bunks, so you know.
Which you took plane rides though, there and back, so you've done a lot more flying than I have for sure.
Yeah, being on a plane for that long is grueling. You know, it's about a 10.5, 11-hour flight from Tokyo to like Los Angeles. And
there's multiple flights too, right?
Yeah, so like we had to fly from Okinawa to Tokyo, from Tokyo to the West Coast, and then from the West Coast to wherever you needed to go. And then vice versa, obviously, if you're going there. My time in Japan was amazing. I loved every flipping minute of it. I mean, like, let me tell you, that was the best times of my life. Like, the food is amazing. I tried food I never thought I would try. You know what I ate out there?
There's no telling.
Beef intestines, okay? Like, grilled, you know? Like, I ate that. Like, I would never do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, you said you were trying different types of food, and that kind of puts me on a soapbox of, like, try things that, like, you're not sure about. Like, you know, as long as, like, it's not going to kill you, like, you're not allergic or, you know, like, it's made properly, you know, like, not going to give you food poisoning.
Well, what is
try it, you know?
What's the word? Customary? Like, there? So, like, Japan...
Yeah, like, seafood...
It might
like,
be weird to you because you're not from there, but it's normal there. So try it because, I mean, that's what they're known for, you know? They're not going to have a grilled burger, probably. Like, it's... Yeah. You're going to have to try different things.
So they have, like, kind of like hamburgers, but they're not, you know? And they usually, like, they just come in patties, so they don't have, like, buns on them. They just come in, like, a hamburger patty.
It's almost like a steak. Like a
like a Salisbury steak or something. But, yeah. Curry is a big thing out there, but it's not like the Indian curry. It's more soupy than Indian curry. Like, Indian curry is kind of like it just sticks to the meat and stuff. But, like, no, their curry, I like Japanese curry way better, in my opinion, you know? And it comes... So, every Japanese, like, chef... Alright, they care so much about the art, okay? It looks beautiful no matter what you get out there. Like, you get a McDonald's burger and it looks just like the advertisement, okay? That is how much care they put into everything.
I think my dad went to Japan for a business trip. He said they take pride in their work. They work. Like, their job is what means the most to them out there. So, like, and they don't tip out there, he said.
It's not.
They get paid what they get paid. So if, like, they get paid to do a job, that's what they do. They don't expect
if you leave money
more
on the table, they will run it back out to you. You know,
so that's crazy to me to think. I mean, just the hospitality wise, like it'd be nice if America was that way. To just like you worked for what you got paid for, and you took pride in your work. Some people do, but for majority, like most people, are just there for a check. You know, they clock out and go home. They don't care. And it's hard to find
just that cultural thing. But other good foods like real ramen, like, you know, authentic ramen. And blow your mind, man. That's like one of the best foods of all time.
Which you made ramen here for us. It's just not my thing, but I did try it. It was cool to see.
A lot of it's like your toppings thing. Like, you don't like the toppings.
Yeah, I'm a picky eater in a lot of senses of just certain flavors I'm not real big on. But I did try it. It's neat to see and to think that would be like a normal meal there.
Yeah, it's like a lunch meal. Like something like if you got a lunch break, you go and you eat like a bowl of ramen or something. But... Okinawa is beautiful. It's a tropical island, and it's all like coral around it. So
did you go snorkeling or anything?
No, I never. Unfortunately, I only went to the beach once. So I was trying to get my scuba license out there, but at the time I was going through my class, I could not figure out how to
breathe properly.
Well, equalize my ears. So like when I would go down, it would be super hard for me to equalize the pressure in my head. So one time I went down too fast. And like it felt like my head was just gonna. So I had to, swim all the way back up top and read this in, and it was difficult. And then I didn't get to finish the class because, like there's an accident, there's a car accident, and I had to end up taking a different vehicle to go transport some stuff. So I didn't end up finishing the class that week, which is unfortunate. And then I just never got around to doing it again.
I just figured with you saying I didn't know if that was like a pastime that you guys did out there or not, or tried to do just to see the ocean and whatnot.
I wish I would have, and when I go back to Okinawa, I will definitely get my license and do that because it's beautiful out there. The water is...
We should definitely take a trip. That'd be awesome to take like a bro down. Obviously, it'd be more expensive for us to go, but it would be super cool to I don't know, you could show me places you went, and then just document something.
Okinawa is really good for your money wise. Like the flight there is kind of expensive because it's about $1,000.
It's just kind of Americanized though, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
Okinawa.
Because of all the American troops there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, you just gotta go looking for the authentic stuff. So like, I want to shout out Mama. Her real name's Kyoka, but we call her Mama, and she was our bartender. That we go to this bar like every other weekend, or maybe every weekend, you know, sometimes. But she owned the bar. She ran it. She's a teacher at one of the universities, so she teaches how to make cocktails. Like, she's an incredible lady. I love her to death. She had such an impact on my time there, because when you interact with people from that nation and you get to know them and their culture and you respect them, and you know, it makes the experience so much, you know, more personal. And I mean, she would, you know, give us some drinks on the house. She would invite us to go to events. Like, I got to go to the Aomori cocktail challenge, where people from all over, like, East Asia would come, and they would make different cocktails using this Aomori, which is a Japanese liquor. And they would make all these different cocktails, and then the judges would rate them and, you know, award the winner. And I mean, it was crazy just seeing all that. And of course, we're two American guys who don't speak Japanese, so it was really hard to, you know, interact with a lot of people there. But, you know, we did have Mama there who was able to kind of translate a little bit, you know, because she speaks English pretty well. But, you know, and then she would invite us out. She invited us out one time to a party with her and her friends, you know. So we got to go do that. It was just amazing, you know, the bond you can form with people. You know, just, you know, being kind and respectful. You know, first impressions do matter. But yeah, big shout out to her, sending my love her way, and hopefully I can go back to Okinawa sometime soon and visit her.
Yeah, especially now with everything the way it is. It's not just, you know, get on a plane and go anymore. It's very precautious and rough to go anywhere right now. So it's kind of it's a good topic to talk about, because I think a lot of people now realize, like, I didn't realize how much traveling affected me. Being stuck in the house all the time and stuff. So you value those trips, and I think when people start to travel again, they're really going to take into consideration when they go somewhere, like, I need to enjoy this, because I think a lot of times when people go, they're like, man, I'm just ready to be back home. And I think after all this being stuck at the house so long, the people are like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this week.
Well, it's the summertime, so people want to get out and they want to be in the nice weather, and, you know, they want to
I mean, how many couples go to Florida every year during the summer, and now, you know, they can't take their kids, can't take themselves, just to get that relaxation time away from their daily lives. So it's just, like we said, Florida is like the hot spot for people here, or like you said, Gulf Shores in Alabama. Just, that's what people did to get away from Bowling Green. So now you've got all these people, just, they're not able to, and if they do, it's very precautious and very careful of how they do things. And some things are still closed. We went to the funeral this week or whatever, and we were going to go get lunch after, but nowhere's open. You can't have a party of 15 to 20 because there's nowhere that's allowed people in that much, as far as just one sitting. And it's like Bowling Green, we have places open. There, they don't. Some places are deciding to stay closed because they're smaller towns.
Smaller businesses and stuff.
Yeah, they're just deciding to keep it closed just to be on the safe side. So it's just, the world is still in pieces, obviously, continuing to be in pieces as things continue. So, I don't know, we both decided that traveling's just a lighter-hearted topic to talk about this week. And we could probably do another episode of just talking about travel. Because, I mean, we really didn't.
So much.
We really just scratched the surface of things we did. Obviously, your time in Japan and my time
it's hard
in those
to condense
places.
all that.
But if you guys would like to see another part of traveling, definitely let us know. We would mind to discuss more in depth. I didn't really discuss New Orleans other than Bourbon Street, but we did a ton in New Orleans. We did more on the cruise, and I just didn't. You know, I was trying to keep it short, keep to our time schedule on here. So if you guys want to see us talk more in depth about our traveling stuff, I'm more happy to. I thought it was a good topic. But that is all the time we have for today, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will see you guys in the next episode next week. Thanks for watching.